Not because life is gentle, not because fate is kind, but because we have decided that nothing which happens can break our inner command. There is a quiet power in the person who walks forward as if events themselves are allies, even when they arrive wearing the face of loss, delay, or pain. This posture is often misunderstood as naive optimism. It is not. It is discipline. It is training. It is the refusal to surrender sovereignty to circumstance. We do not say everything works out because the world bends to our desires. We say it because we bend ourselves toward what happens. Marcus Aurelius wrote that fire turns everything thrown into it into flame. This is not poetry, it is instruction. The disciplined mind does not wait for ideal conditions. It assumes that whatever appears is material, raw substance for growth, strength, and refinement. When we act as if everything works out, we are not predicting outcomes, we are declaring how we will meet them. Most people live in anticipation of harm. They rehearse disaster before it arrives. They let fear walk ahead of reality and poison the present. Long before loss touches them, they have already suffered it in their mind. We choose a different path. We train ourselves to expect resistance and to welcome it. Epictetus taught that the obstacle is not an interruption of the path, but the path itself. What ruins others becomes our proving ground. This is why we appear calm where others panic. When something collapses, we do not ask, "Why is this happening to me?" We ask, "What is being asked of me now?" That shift changes everything. Acting as if everything works out does not make us passive. It makes us precise. We focus relentlessly on what remains within our control, judgment, intention, effort, and release the rest without bitterness. This is not resignation, it is clarity. Seneca warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. The Stoic trained mind understands this deeply. We do not decorate events with unnecessary meaning. We do not label setbacks as insults to our identity. We let facts be facts, and nothing more. When plans fail, we do not collapse inward. We recalibrate. When people betray us, we do not rot in resentment. We adjust our expectations. When success delays, we do not panic. We refine our preparation. This is why everything works out for us, not because outcomes are always pleasant, but because no outcome is wasted. Modern Stoic scholars like Pierre Hadot emphasize that this philosophy was never theoretical. It was a way of life, a daily practice of aligning the inner world with reality instead of fighting it. William Irvine later described this as negative visualization and voluntary discomfort, rehearsing loss so that when life removes something, it removes less of us. We are not shocked by hardship. We have already made peace with its possibility, and because of that, we are free. Acting as if everything works out gives us an unshakable edge, emotional economy. We do not spend energy cursing what cannot be changed. We invest it where it compounds, in endurance, skill, patience, and restraint. Others waste themselves asking if life is fair. We ask if we are prepared. This posture also changes how we move through the world socially. We are harder to manipulate because threats lose their power over us. Praise does not inflate us. Criticism does not define us. When you no longer fear outcomes, people lose leverage. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." This is not denial. It is mastery over interpretation. Events strike everyone, meaning only strikes those who invite it. We still feel pain. But pain does not rule us. We still experience disappointment, but it does not dictate our identity. Acting as if everything works out is an inner oath. No moment will be allowed to corrupt our character. That is the real victory. Because in the end, life does not reward us based on what happens, but on who we become in response. The world can take opportunities, relationships, status, comfort. It cannot take the one thing we guard relentlessly, our command over ourselves. And once that is secure, everything truly does work out. not in appearance, but in essence. We move forward not with blind hope, but with trained confidence. Whatever comes, we will meet it. Whatever stays, we will use it. Whatever leaves, we will endure it. And that is why we walk calmly into the unknown, as if it has already been handled. The power of silence in a noisy world. There is a quiet war being fought every day, not with swords, not with guns, but within the minds of men and women who are assaulted by voices, opinions, and endless noise. Those who yield to this chaos lose themselves. But those who embrace silence, who master the art of restraint, discover a strength few will ever understand. We have been conditioned to speak, to react, to validate ourselves through others. But the Stoics taught differently. Epictetus reminded us that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. There is a deliberate power in holding your tongue, in letting the world reveal itself to you, rather than reflexively revealing yourself to the world. Silence is not mere absence of sound. It is the absence of weakness, of impulsivity, of emotional surrender. When we refuse to respond to every insult, to every provocation, to every petty argument, we preserve the clarity of our judgment. We preserve the peace of our inner citadel. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Silence is the vessel of that revenge. It is the shield that allows us to act from principle rather than from passion. Those who speak without control reveal their chains, chains of ego, chains of fear, chains of need. But the one who listens, observes, and waits, that person moves through the world like a shadow that cannot be caught. They are untouchable, not because they are invincible, but because they are disciplined. They have learned the Stoic truth. Our power is never in controlling others, but in mastering ourselves. Silence cultivates depth. It allows thought to grow in the dark, where it is protected from the shallow judgments of the world. It allows reflection to ferment into wisdom. The loud, the impulsive, the reactive, they move like children through life, scattering their energy. But the silent endure, the silent observe, and when the moment calls, they act with precision, like a surgeon striking where it matters most. We must also recognize that silence is not withdrawal, it is strategy, it is an assertion of control over what is within our power. By remaining unmoved by noise, we let life unfold and select our battles with care. We do not fight for recognition. We do not fight for applause. We fight only for mastery over ourselves, and in this quiet mastery we find the paradox. The less we expose ourselves, the stronger we become. The world may rage, but it cannot reach us. The insults, the lies, the manipulations, they fall flat against the fortress of self-command. In a noisy world, those who speak less and act more are feared, respected, and envied. They carry a silent authority that cannot be bought, argued with, or intimidated. They understand that the mind is a kingdom, and silence is its most loyal guard. We will move through life with fewer words, but greater impact. We will allow our actions to speak where voices fail, and in our silence we will find a freedom that the loudest crowds will never touch. For in the end, it is not what is shouted that changes the world. It is what is done, quietly, deliberately, and without compromise. The strength of walking alone. There is a peculiar kind of power in choosing the path that no one else dares to walk. The world rewards conformity, and the crowd whispers that safety lies in numbers. Yet the truly wise know that the path of solitude is not emptiness, it is clarity. It is in walking alone that we face our fears unshielded, confront our weaknesses without excuse, and discover the raw measure of our own resilience. Seneca warned that it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it in the company of others. The company of the unreflective, the envious, the shallow, these are distractions. They pull us into triviality, into petty emotions, into a life governed by others' approval. Walking alone is not loneliness. It is a conscious refusal to surrender our inner peace to those who do not understand its value. When we walk alone, we strip away the illusions of dependency. No one else carries our courage. No one else bears the weight of our choices. And in that solitary responsibility, we find freedom. We discover that the world cannot harm what we have already mastered within ourselves. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Alone, we are forced to wield that power fully. There is a test hidden in solitude. When no one is watching, when applause cannot be earned, when distraction is removed, the truth of our character emerges. Do we succumb to anger, bitterness, or despair? Or do we cultivate patience, fortitude, and self-discipline? This is the crucible in which rare strength is forged. The world may never see the quiet victories of the solitary, but they are victories nonetheless, victories over the baser instincts that enslave the many. Solitude also sharpens the mind. In silence and independence, thought becomes precise, vision becomes clear, and judgment becomes unclouded. We are free to reflect, to plan, to act with intention rather than reaction. The noise of society cannot penetrate a mind that has learned the discipline of walking alone, and paradoxically, those who walk alone are often the ones who move mountains. Because they do not seek validation, they are unshaken by failure. Because they are accountable only to themselves, their actions are deliberate and their resolve unbreakable. Others may follow, but the leader is forged in the shadows of solitude, unobserved and undistracted. So let us embrace the path that diverges from the crowd. Let us find strength not in numbers, but in mastery of ourselves. Let the world talk. Let the masses sway. Let chaos rage. Our focus is within. The rarest kind of power comes to those who walk alone. The power of self-reliance, of inner peace, and of indomitable will. In walking alone, we do not become isolated. We become invincible. Remember, this journey is not about shortcuts or instant gratification. It is about building habits that no one sees, forging strength in solitude, and learning to act with purpose in a world that thrives on distraction. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Let this be our silent pact, to take what we learn here and live it, not just admire it. If you found value in this message, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. But more than that, commit to practicing even a single lesson from today's video. Let it influence your thoughts, your choices, and your reactions. And when the world tests you, when emotions rise and chaos calls, remember, you have the power to remain unshaken. You have the power to walk your path alone with purpose and unwavering strength.